The 3:30 game on CBS. It is that team up north, USC, number 11 USC. They're not the team up north. Number 11 USC taking on the team up north, number 18 Michigan. This is at Michigan. USC a 5.5 point favorite. I'm surprised actually how low that line is, but
well, I think it opened at 3, so money's coming in on the
you,
Trojans.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this game? Alex Orji, the starter in this game. It's been announced. Which, depending on how you feel about announcing the starter this early in the week, regardless. But what are your thoughts on this game?
I want to pick Michigan at home, USC traveling to them. I still think what Michigan did last week was somewhat important. They really got back to being able to run the ball. I know the opponent wasn't all world or anything, and USC's front looked good against LSU, but LSU was gashing them in the run. So if Michigan's going to win, they're going to have to use Alex Orji throwing the ball as just to keep them honest. If he can just keep USC from overloading the box, I think Michigan has the line still and the backs to be able to move the ball on the ground against USC. So really curious. I mean, that's to me what's going to dictate who wins this game is how much Michigan's offense can maybe just give their defense a break or not let their defense get gassed out. Flip side of that, I also have down Miller Moss is just by far the best offensive player, I think, in this game. And then they also have the little receiver, Branch, is it?
Zachariah Branch.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player as well. I don't think you can necessarily stop him, but you got to be able to contain him. And I do think Michigan's defense will do a good job of that. I just think in the end, Michigan's offense isn't able to do quite enough, and I just trust the superior quarterback play in Miller Moss to get the job done.
Yeah. Oh man, we're so similar in how we're thinking. It's kind of scary how similar we're.
I really want to see you. I forgot to mention the offensive line for USC as well. I think Michigan's D-line is probably the best. They haven't always played up to it this year, but I think their D-line is still probably the best that they've seen this year. So that's another thing to watch.
Yeah. So last week I felt very proud of it. I made some bad picks last week. I had Purdue beating Notre Dame being the worst of it. But I said last week I thought Michigan would not like how they would perform against Arkansas State. And it's just one of those games where if you don't blow them out, it's the type of game that maybe they exploit some of your weaknesses and you're like, oh, we're going to lose by 30 or 40 to Ohio State. FYI, as an Ohio State fan, I'm still scared as all get out of that game at November 30th.
Yeah.
Like I don't care like how bad they look up until that point. I think USC fans are not going to like me saying this. I think they got the benefit of a poorly coached team against LSU. And then they played a not very good team in Utah State. So like they're 2-0. They had a bye. I think everyone kind of thinks, yeah, they're really, really good. I'm not saying they're fool's gold. Like I think USC is a legitimate top 20 team. I think if Trojan fans, you think that what's going to happen against Michigan this week is going to be what happened when they played Texas, I think you are in for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
Because you're not Texas. Like I think the offensive line still has a few questions. I think the defense still has questions. Like I think LSU, if they were well coached, may have put up 30 to 40.
I don't know why they stopped running in that game, but
yeah. I mean, just poorly coached, poor decisions. Now, that doesn't mean I don't like. I think Danton Lynn has done wonders for them.
Yep.
But I think both things can be true. Like I think you can say Danton Lynn has done a really good job, and also I don't think the defense is all the way fixed. And that's something, I say that something that JR and I on the huddle agree with. Like we agree with each other on, and it sounds like you're on that same wavelength. Is that I think there's a lot in USC that is encouraging, but I wouldn't put the cart before the horse. And so I think there's a real pathway for Michigan to win this game. Khalil Mullings, like I think if they come up with a creative game plan with Alex Orji, like I think that his dynamic ability to run, if they don't telegraph his quarterback runs, I think that becomes a very scary rushing attack. The real question for Michigan is the offensive line, and can the defense not get gassed, which I think you brought up really well in your point, is that I think the first wave of Michigan defenders is elite. The problem is they get tired. And so I think this is close. I think Michigan may have a lead in the third quarter. Ultimately, I do think the athleticism of the receivers, you've got Zachariah Branch, who you mentioned, who's the Lane, Jacoby Lane has really stepped up for them. I think Miller Moss might be the second best quarterback they face all year. Quinn Ewers being the number one guy. Miller Moss is and I might put Miller Moss even above Dylan Gabriel. And Dylan Gabriel's great. He's in the perfect system for him. Some of the throws Moss made against LSU were just, chef's kiss, right? I mean, whew.
Yeah.
So I have a close game.
Me too.
27-23 USC over Michigan.
Yeah, I have 28-27 USC.
Yeah, we're like right on this. Yeah. So I think it'll be a fun one. I think it'll be a really good game.
I think it's going to be. I'm so curious to see, because if USC comes out and makes Michigan have to throw, then all of a sudden USC is like, okay, maybe they are coming for, in that Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State conversation as far as teams with the chance to win the Big Ten, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree, but I'm
not saying it will happen. I'm just saying if it does happen that way.
Yeah, I think that would not be good for Michigan, obviously, and would say I think some really good things about USC. But yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
I think USC is going to struggle a bit.